Hello, beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel to see what I will be reading in the month of May. See if you have wanted to read any of these, if you have, all that kind of good input. Now, there is one event that I will be participating kind of loosely in for May, and that is Miserable May. The hosts are Scott at Gunpowder Books and Fiction and Gemma at Gemma Books. I will leave their video below. Last year, it was kind of inspired by Thomas Hardy. And so I had already decided that this year for Miserable May, I was not only going to read a book by Thomas Hardy that I have not read. This is Desperate Remedies. This is his first book that was ever published. It is kind of a mystery with a, what I understand is a woman kind of enters poverty. She's not born into poverty, but she falls into poverty, so she has to become a lady's maid, and she kind of gets married off to the woman's son, who is supposedly already married, but they thought the wife was died, but she maybe is alive, but maybe it's an imposter, but dun dun dun. So it sounds very dramatic, and I love his writing. It is just so overly the top descriptive that I just love it. And then I'm going to read a biography. I found this at a library sale, a biography on Thomas Hardy. So I'm going to actually read about his life, which I don't know a lot about him as a person and why he was so depressed. He's like the Shakespearean tragedy classic author. This is why he's Miserable May. So I'm not doing the other prompts that they have, but check out their video if you are in for some misery. I will be doing a buddy read with Welltraveled Books, the Herman Hesse Steppenwolf. Now, I did read this book in high school, but it has been a hot minute since I was in high school, and I am absolutely in a different stage of life. It has been a few decades, and I look forward to revisiting this. I remember it as kind of a lot of symbolism, maybe metaphors, and coming of age, and wrestling with identity, and those kind of things in a very spiritually abstract kind of way, but those are kind of my impression memories. I don't actually remember the story. So it's just like reading it for the first time. Do you ever do that? Do you have a book that maybe you want to revisit that you haven't picked up in so long that you can't really remember it, but you remember positive feelings about it, so you want to revisit it? Anyway, Welltraveled Books has a fantastic video library on her page that has a lot of what I would ideally like to show, just more settings, more. She even goes into like actual nature and planting and all these things that I love, but I'm not very good at. So I really appreciate when somebody else is. So check that out. Now, I think maybe for me it's May of the Mammoths. It's not really a thing. I just kind of made that up. But I will be picking up the next book in the Wheel of Time. Now, this is the first one, book 12, that is not technically written by Robert Jordan. It is his outlines, but he passed away after writing book 11, and he originally was going to write 12 books. So his widower called up Brandon Sanderson and said, "I really appreciate your writing style. Would you consider finishing this?" And then he did, but he took 3 more books to do it instead of 1. So I'm not positive if this is going to start the last battle or if this is going to regather all the characters and position them in the way for Brandon Sanderson to do the last battle, because it's the Gathering Storm. So I'm kind of picturing he's going to kind of rework everything to get it all in place to make it make sense in the Brandon Sanderson way. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. That will be those 4 books plus my mugs. I always get so excited. I asked you, my viewers, at the beginning of the year to pick out 12 books for me to read in each category. So these are my classics, my little classic mug. So let's see what classic I will be adding to this. I will be reading, Night. And I think, ironically, I did read this in high school as well. But again, hot minute. So 2 books from high school. That's pretty cool. Actually, I've got 3 classics because Steppenwolf, Night, and Desperate Remedies are all classics. So it's going to be a good classics month. Okay, let's see what my nonfiction will be. Let's see, let's see. It says Shakespeare. Which one is that? Hold on. How brilliant. I forgot Shakespeare by Bill Bryson. He did the Walk in the Woods. That was so amazing. And I actually picked this up at a library sale for $1. And I love theater. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that little book. So I jumped ahead. Normally I don't show the books to the end, but let's finish looking and see what I got. I just got really confused, which doesn't take a lot if you've been watching my channel. So let us see the fiction. Oh, I got Walk in Blue Fields. This is Claire Keegan, and I do not think I have read a Claire Keegan before. So that is particularly exciting. And then these are new releases. Anything that's come out in the past 2 years, I call new release, because I have a lot of them. The Winners. So this is Frederick Backman, and it is the conclusion to the trilogy Beartown, which Beartown, I don't know if it's in my very favorite fictions, but it is definitely a 5-star favorite. So I look forward to reading that one. I do think that one's a little bit thicker. So let me grab those real quick and kind of run through them and lift up the stack and see how we ended up. This is the really gripping story of escape during Nazi persecution of the Jews, particularly at Auschwitz camp. And then Claire Keegan, beautiful cover, Walk the Blue Fields. I know this is set in Ireland, has something to do with grief and wrestling with unclaimed choices of life, like something in that nature. It sounded really kind of almost ethereal, but maybe it won't play out that way. This is just what I'm picturing in my mind when I've heard other people talking about it. This is the beautiful copy of The Winners. And it is a nice thick one, which is great because these other ones are pretty small. So it balances out really nicely. And then Shakespeare. So let's put them together and see what we got. We'll put the big chunky one on top. Okay, oops, my Desperate Remedies is not turned right. We'll put him on top. How we got? That looks pretty good, doesn't it? That looks doable. I like this, and it's a little classic with some really good fiction to break it up, as well as nonfiction coordinating with the Desperate Remedies, and my fantasy, which is upside down. But you know what? We can't have everything. Okay. And then we just throw it. Throw the goodness. Hope that you have some goodness thrown at you. Happy reading. Thank you for stopping by. Like and subscribe if you want more videos. Take care, y'all.